Boop. All right, we're here together playing with the Gauntlet community. This is Lord Scurlock. It's our 4th of 4 sessions, so we're reaching the final huge climax of the game. Have some wonderful players. I want to say again that we use the Gauntlet inclusivity policy, which and we also have in play the X card, which if everybody knows, please just signal, put something in the chat, say something to me that if something gets problematic or just stops being fun. And again, this is a tool for all of us to enjoy the game for the most. Please feel free to do it. We'll do a little rewind, and I'll just skip back into play. It's certainly not a problem, and it's meant to be used. So please feel free to do so. That said, we haven't really gotten into a ton of problematic stuff so far in our game, other than massive amounts of bloodshed. We have had a bit of that. I'm going to do a quick recap of where we were last time, and then I think we're going to do a little kind of planning out how we'd like to see this last session go. So, if we remember correctly, our fine set of Scurlock heirs and their faithful servant Jedman had come back together for the funeral of Lord Scurlock. He had left the manor, the title, a few odds and ends, and unfortunately, a lot of debts. The family came together, and actually there was some bonding involved of them reuniting, understanding each other again. However, Lord Scurlock's many nefarious endeavors had come back to haunt them. And so we had a gang, which the young Lord Scurlock, Tertius, had gone and managed to make friendship with Cudger's gang, and had managed to get them off of the backs wanting money, but had to kind of come to an agreement with them. We had Baston, the mechanical Scurlock, going forth to find out a bit about Lord Scurlock's rather dark dealings with some orphans, where we've found out that Lord Scurlock would take young orphan girls, bring them back to the manor, and they would die with a look of total ecstasy on their face, but dead nonetheless. Jedman, the faithful servant, was more aware of this, as he had been the one who had seen to the disposal of the bodies. And Lord Aris Scurlock had discovered along these lines that down in this basement where these girls were dying, there exists a demon, Satara, who began speaking to him. With some research and study, we found out that the Scurlocks have control over this demonic presence down below, but only the Lord Scurlock may come and open up where she's held and take command of her fully. Jedman, the faithful servant, had discovered that Lord Scurlock's spirit had not rested so easily, and has indeed seen his ghostly presence on several occasions. One in particular is where he seemed to possess or be wrapped around Baston Scurlock, the automatonic man. And there are some questions now, even as we're going along, that Baston may have a greater, be more greatly influenced by Lord Scurlock than that even he knows, understands. Aris and Tertius had formed an alliance and decided to knock off one of the larger gangs in the town, and last time we played, went in and just wrecked up the place, caused bloody murder everywhere, and with the help of Cudger's gang, managed to dispose of the eels in pretty hearty fashion. Helping them as well was Tertius's gang of pirates. And so, we returned back to our game as no, actually, I think we were wanting to discuss kind of where we want to see these characters go. And Michael, you were starting with that. What were you saying there? How would you like to see Tertius?
Yeah. I mentioned that the biggest open questions for me are one, whether he leaves or stays. I think he's more likely to leave at this point. The other is whether or not he can really reconcile with his family. I think the biggest thing that's going to make a difference there is how far and to what extent the rest of the family goes down the kind of dark Scurlock path. I mean, I think that there's like a potential that like he sees something or realizes something where he's like, no, I don't even want to have the Scurlock name anymore. Like maybe I can still, work with, a couple of them on some fronts, but, maybe he decides that he doesn't want even want that anymore. I don't know.
Okay. Well then, Aris, what are you thinking for development and as our story wraps for Aris?
I think Aris at this point is he's given up all the sneaking that he thought he could get away with. I think the only thing that could stop him from just going full force, even committing murder, if that's what it takes to get to the demon, would be Jedmund. Because I think I've got no respect for Bastion. I think I've got Tertius off in La La Land. Jedmund's the only one that he's kind of kept a respect for.
All right. So you're pushing towards Zatara. Bastion, what are you thinking for? Where do you see kind of the resolution of his story?
Well, that's I've been kind of struggling with that myself over the last week, trying to think of, what is the end game and how should I continue to play Bastion? We jokingly called him the sociopathic murder bot. And while he's not actually killed anybody, and in fact, he did try to resolve things non-violently and everything to his ability, he has set many things in motion that could have, devastating consequences.
You did crack that guy's neck on the stairs.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. But I mean, before that, he threw himself into the line of fire to try to rescue him. So, but yeah, he just has currently has no emotion. I do have the option of buying off the key of the machine and picking up empathy, which could potentially alter him. However, I see if I go in that direction, it opens the door further for the ghost of Lord Scurlock to step in and have that be the end game. That's kind of where I'm going there. I am thinking about, continuing the path with Bastion because he has, similar to the others, he's been looking at the other two brothers and Jedmund as to, okay, my primary mission is to protect the family and to protect those that are close to the family, doing whatever means are necessary to accomplish that, possibly even, going to extreme measures to ensure their safety. He also realized in the previous sessions that, Aris, while he respects Aris definitely doesn't respect him. Tertius, he had some like compassion for from when they were younger, but has saw him as more or less of a loser, lowlife, but was really impressed in the last several days with Tertius's, making giant strides to grow up. He's made effort and could possibly even be the only blood heir at this point. So I am both keen towards pursuing my current plan of political maneuvering and seeing where that leads. I'm also not opposed to really anything. So, I mean, if we want to see us end with Tertius on the throne, if we want to see Aris on the throne, hell, if we want to see Jedmund on the throne, I'm sure we can make that happen. So, I'm cool with whatever happens, but I'll just kind of go with the plan I have for now and see, how it plays out.
Okay.
Yeah, but I definitely would not allow Bastion to end up on the seat if he doesn't change, because the way he is now, it would not be good.
No, yeah, that would be a little dangerous. Jedmund, what would you kind of like to see as Jedmund's resolution?
I mean, I think the thing that's mostly on Jedmund's mind is like wanting the Scurlock host to like continue. So I think one of the others becoming the heir, I think, is probably an important thing for him. And then the second most important thing is trying to keep the Zatara thing hidden away and not have demons involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if how how that'll all play out. I'm sure demons are going to get involved, but that's cool.
And you did buy off your key of caring, right? Or the
ruin, the key of ruin.
Yeah. So you have stopped feeling your old guilts.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he wants one of the Scurlocks to step up and become the Lord Scurlock.
Okay. Michael, I don't know if this really centered us in. It really kind of gave us two ends of things. Did it help you settle on kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think now we've got kind of these big questions kind of in play, so I kind of know what the other characters are angling for.
Okay.
Of the two, if it does. If Eris is really going after the demon, that could reignite some conflicts. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
All right. Well, then we're going to start off with a scene where Baston, I believe you were going to confront the Magistrate Holpine, who, as a reminder, has been in business with Lord Scurlock and has been dealing with him at these orphanages and had wanted to come in and get some deeds out of the study, which seem to have been these orphanages, and has probably been protecting Lord Scurlock to a certain degree.
I would see that as more of a mutual protection. So
yeah.
They've definitely down some dark paths together. And that's kind of the angle I plan to play the scene out. So are we ready to start?
I think so.
All right. So Bastion will, I believe I forget where I was prior to this, but, I'm striding across town. And, one complication that I've come to realize as a player recently is that in this world, automatons are kind of illegal in the city. So, Bastion is sort of a singular kind of personality. People stay out of his way because of respect for Lord Scurlock and all that.
They are simply looked down on.
Yeah. So Bastion will, march up to Lord Holpine's, mansion or his manse and, knock on the door.
The door is opened by a straight-faced looking butler.
Good evening. Bastion Scurlock for Magister Holpine.
Ah, of course. I was told to show you right in should you arrive. Please.
Okay. So I guess I'm shown into the study or wherever, Magistrate Holpine would receive guests, and I will wait patiently for his arrival.
He comes in very shortly in kind of a little bit of a rush. Bit of a rush as he goes, "Oh, Baston, how good to see you. I've been hoping to hear from you sooner. You have agreed, I'm hoping, to let me come in and pick up those one or two little things."
Well, Magister Holpine, that is why I have arrived here today. I wish to discuss these matters with you. I have come to merge much more firmly with my father's implanted memories, and I believe that you may be somewhat mistaken in your recollection. And I will stick out my hand and display a holograph, like an R2-D2 kind of hologram on my hand of the card game between Magister Holpine and our father Edmund. And in the card game, they're playing this somewhere if Magic the Gathering and Dominoes got together and had a bastard child. It's sort of this really weird game, and they're both cheating, but Edmund was cheating better and actually won the game. And so I'm saying, as my father's memories dictate, you did not actually win that game, but I and my family, we are much more inclined to forget this whole matter. However, I did not come here to harm my relationship with you. I came here to discuss the future.
The future, Baston.
I understand that you have a great interest in the orphanages. The orphanages, and you, I assume, would rather not have your name associated with any transactions that have occurred there.
Are you attempting to threaten me, Baston?
Absolutely not. I am attempting to entice you into thinking about the future. When you and I attended the academy together when we were children, we swore that we would help each other, and we have had many adventures. And Bastion's like, I will kind of glaze over and then come back to. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. Sometimes my father's memories and mine have merged to some extent. It's making it very difficult for me to distinguish the one from the other. When you and my father attended university together, you swore to benefit each other's family, and I understand how we have worked together to both see that the Scurlocks and the Whole Pines have both elevated. I wish to see this happen even further in the future. I want your support as naming me Lord Scurlock, and in return, I wish to see your house elevated even further, starting with the potential marriage of your daughter, who will soon be of marrying age to one of my brothers. But of course, for someone of your stature to marry into my family, we need to elevate you. So I'm thinking it may be of benefit to. I'm thinking Viceroy sounds like a nice title for the Whole Pine family.
You are a very ambitious, whatever you are. Memories. You possess Edmund's memories.
Many of them. I have yet to access all of them fully, but I am making great progress. I know that Viceroy Skeen is involved in some very nefarious business with our goblin friend Cudger, and I am endeavoring to discover some useful information that would help me replace him. Assuming, of course, a interested candidate could be found.
I have to say that you seem to have taken the most Machiavellian traits of your creator.
Perhaps. We all do whatever is necessary to protect our family, do we not? And then the eyes kind of scrolls in on him.
It would be very difficult for you to be named Lord Scurlock, obviously. However, I suppose if you could have all claimants ask for arbitration, it would put it more into my hands.
That is my thought exactly.
Why don't we roll then? I think
I was expecting a roll to come out here pretty quick. So yeah, exactly. So Bastion has Wondrous, and in this case, I'm thinking interface with Imposing, Presence, Nobles, and Bargain.
Okay.
Yep. So I believe that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have 1 left in my pool because I haven't done a refresh yet. So that would give me 8.
8. All right.
So I'm rolling 7. Michael. I'm rolling 7d6 plus 1. So I will submit the 7. And I will roll the 1.
Holy crud.
And okay, the 1 failed. But I think, holy crap.
Yeah, the others are pretty good.
Wow.
Could I get with that level of success? Could I assume that maybe Magistrate Holpine has additional evidence? He might be more enthusiastic about my plan and maybe have some evidence of his own to bring to the table.
Indeed, I'll say that I was planning for this to take a pretty good result to get him to agree to a metal man on the throne of the Scurlock house, but you busted the chart. It only goes to 6, so that is really highly impressive. You see a little gleam come into his eye. I've always thought Lord Holpine would be a great name. Yes, I think what you're saying is possible. He moves over to his desk. He says, what we need, I have built up a case, considerable amount of information that Skeen has been skimming off bonds from the government here. He sends them to Haven. You know Haven is the capital of the kind of opposing nation to the Empire. My guess is that he would intend to run as soon as he feels he's feathered his nest enough.
My thoughts exactly.
If you could get corroborating evidence, perhaps evidence from this Mr. Cudger, we could bring down Skeen and, well, with a new viceroy on the seat and things changing, well, would a bronze Scurlock be so very, very unusual?
I think a bronze Scurlock on the throne could see the house successfully forward into the distant future, bringing House Holpine along with it. For that, I will bid you adieu, my fine magistrate. I look forward to further dealings.
Excellent. And as he smiles as you walk out, oh my, that was a phenomenal role. I had really figured that there was a chance he might do something stupid, like draw a weapon and get killed by you.
I was prepared for that outcome, but at the same time, I was hoping. I actually figured that I could probably convince him because did I just erase everybody's stuff?
You sure
crap!
Did.
I thought I only had my stuff selected. I hit the clear button. Oops. Hold on a second. How many dice did everyone have on there?
Well, the fortunate thing is we are, after your scene, going into a refresh.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I certainly can't say anything because I did the same thing myself.
I'll do it. I'll get everyone's stuff back on here.
All right. Yep. Get the labels on and yes.
I'm going to ask Shado on making that say clear all because that would be a lot less confusing. And
I agree.
Got the whole rest of the thing in place. 3 more letters can't kill it, right?
Yeah, I agree with you, and maybe even have it with a bright color too.
Yeah.
But yeah, clear all would be a good idea. All right. So we have the brothers Aris and Tertius having just gone and done this pretty bloody, exciting raid. It was a huge success. Where are the two of you going? Are you falling back to Cudger's place, or are you heading back home to the manor?
I think the manor.
I've seen enough of Cudger for now. I mean, He knows the deal. I've got my guy Rodrigo will be attending to my own interests here. I don't feel the need to go say hi to Cudger again.
All right. And as you split off from the gang and your pirates are going off with Cudger, Cudger will go, Tertius, my lord, our Aris, absolutely delighted to have had this evening with you. I'll make sure to get you what's yours, Tertius.
Ongoing, yes. It's good to be parted with you, Cudger.
And they head off. As the two of you, are you heading straight back? Are you wanting a drink, or what are y'all doing? Arm in arm around each other's shoulder?
I might go grab a drink somewhere and unwind a bit before I go all the way home.
I do want to have one more conversation with him before the night's over, so I guess if he's going to drink, I'll join him.
Okay. I'm going to take him to the most scoundrelish low-life bar besides the one that we just sacked. Now the most scoundrelish low-life bar in town.
All right.
So I think I say that when I walk into the bartender. Congratulations. This is now the lowest, most divey bar in all of Valyria.
So you've moved back into where nearer to the manor, which is also in Cudger's territory. So you're good and safe going into this dive bar, and grabbing a quiet booth as a young waitress that has hard look in her eye comes over and she'll drop off your drinks.
Well, Tertius, with the dominoes starting to fall, what are you going to do? Is this going to work out for us?
I mean, like I said before, it's not going to be easy to have a sizable stake in all the criminal activities in town, but it will be very profitable for us.
Sorry, my mute kept on not unmuting. Well, I think we've got the beginnings of a little empire here. I'd like to make a request. I think I've scratched your back. Will you scratch mine?
Oh, what do you want, Eris?
You know what I want. I want the title. It doesn't mean anything to you anyways. I don't know why you haven't given it up as soon as the man was dead.
You know, an honest honest bargainer will make his deals up front, you know. Look, we did this for the both of us. This will provide an income for the family so that you can hold on to that house that you care so much about.
And so I'm grateful. I think you trying to convince me that this isn't going to benefit your outlying pirating or whatever it is that you do out there more. I think that would be foolish for me to believe.
More? I am in business already. I have a healthy, stable living out there. You're the ones that are, you know, wondering what the hell you're going to do with the damn house in a couple of months. I mean, you know, how long would you be staying afloat otherwise?
Long enough.
Well, so what's your plan from here? I mean, suppose you get the title. What's next?
Wielding the power. you know what you can do in the House of Commons and among the nobility here. You can pull this string and that string. I'm going to live the life of comfort that's always been due to me.
I mean, you've had a healthy life of comfort so far. Wouldn't kill you to go out there in the black and get some real experience.
Oh, I'd say I got my experience tonight, don't you? Look, I've got blood on my gloves.
Very cute. That's a good look. Look, so yeah, suppose I do give you this title. I mean, sure, you know, we helped each other out tonight. Now you're asking me for this. How do I know you're going to continue to help me out and, you know, represent my interests in that House of Commons and such?
You keep your first mate here. He can live in comfort. He can take care of the ground day to day that needs to be taken care of. I'll make sure he has all the luxuries he desires. What was his name? Bimbo? Coffee?
Bimbo. You have to figure out his name next time you meet him. That's Rodrigo, and he doesn't like getting mixed up if you're going to do that terrible
I knew
at
it had an O at the end. Well, what do you say? Do we have a deal? Hold out the hand.
I don't think I'm ready to renounce it quite yet. I'm thinking here that I had one last question on my mind, but I forgot it. I think that I'm gonna, you know, go. Why don't we sleep on it, and I'll get up and start heading back to the manor.
I will clutch the side of the table and hold in the fury.
That's not a no.
All right. I think, yeah, because the mechanic is kind of, you know, ask a question of each other and end the play, kind of reveal it. I believe you were asking, are you ready to leave and give me this title? You were asking, what are you going to do with it, and how are you going to, help me out if you have it? Seems like we had that kind of play off each other. Didn't quite resolve the issue, but we certainly had that interplay. So that sounds like a good refresh to me. So you will both fill your pools back, and you may remove a condition if you have one marked.
All right.
Jedman. Want to get into a refresh for you. You had spent last night, or the evening and then the night, down on the dock there in front of the door with some of the things that, had kind of been precious to you and had come back with this new resolve. It would be nice if we could do a refresh with Baston with you. But if there's someone else you'd like to, then we can have Baston do one with someone else. The point is just to give everybody a chance to get one.
Yeah.
Who would you like to meet with and have that interplay?
Yeah, it would be tidy if we could do it with Bastion.
Okay. Would this be the next morning? I mean, it'd have to be since you stayed the night.
Sure. Yeah.
We could also do a flashback.
We can do a flashback.
Yeah, I actually had an idea for doing a flashback to kind of explore Tertius's departure from the house when we were much younger. If you'd like to try to, or any other topic you would like.
Sure. Yeah. No. That sounds good.
Yeah, and like I say, y'all can, we can intersperse people in. It's fine. But you want to do that one? That sounds good.
All right. So the idea I had for that, if you like this idea, is that Bastion, a much younger, or rather a different model of him, this is 30 or 20 some years ago, the eve of the fallout between Edmund and Tertius, Bastion has just heard that his brother is leaving and is marching towards Edmund's study to confront him. But Jedmund, knowing that something is seriously wrong, stops Bastion and has to convince him to not go in. Does that sound like an interesting idea?
Yeah, yeah.
To color this a little bit, I think that, I've thought about this whole thing with Tertius leaving the house. I think that him and Edlund were jawing at each other for a while. This would probably be around the time Tertius was 16 or 17. They had like a really big argument at one point, and I think that Edlund suspected him of stealing something like really important, which Tertius actually didn't do. Later, Baston, when we met out in the Wild Blue, I think you might have mentioned that to me, and not just that, but that Edlund had known it for 10 or 15 years that it wasn't me, but he still hadn't reconciled.
I like that.
I actually like that idea, but that actually makes me want to play something a little later after all of this has come to fruition.
we could later on. We'll see.
All right. Okay. So let's do it as planned then. So unless Kyle, you have a better idea.
No, I think this is great.
All right. So Flash, 20 years back, a smaller, much more agile version of Bastion still has his flowing Scurlock tunic and his mechanical legs, but his arms are much more spindly and he's much more spry, and he's trotting towards the main study with his eye is actually kind of pulsing with anger.
I think Jedman intercepts him and puts a hand on his shoulder and stops him.
The head will swivel around, and still it's not like the Bastion of now. He's much more fluid in his motions and much more normal in his actions. And he's like, Bastion, or not Bastion, I'm sorry, Jedman, did you hear? Father is sending my brother away.
Yes, Bastion, yes. Word has spread. Come with me.
But we have to stop this. This is madness. The family cannot be separated. What should we do without our brother?
I've known your father for a long time, and you charging in there in a fury is not going to change his disposition or his intent. The whole time he's kind of like, he's always been very, very interested with Bastion and curious, and he's like taken aback by like how, even at this young of an age, like how much of Edland he can see in this small robot. It's very
he still does talk with Edland's voice too, and a much more
right.
A much less mechanical intonation at this point. Whatever happened in the future that caused him to become much more cold and machine-like has not happened yet. So, okay, so Bastion will follow Jessamine off into, say, the library to have a more private conversation. What do you think happened? What caused this?
Oh, I mean, it was inevitable. We all saw it coming, right? Like they've been butting heads since as long as I can remember. You know, this is a thing between the two of them, and I don't think anyone can interfere with it. They're just going to have to work it out on their own.
Do you think they were reconciled? Do you think that he will come back
in time? I hope.
Without Tertius, I will be the sole target of Eris's magical fury. I don't know if I can survive.
We've all got your back, Jedman. Baston.
Okay, so I guess that kind of. Do you have any more questions you want to try to address?
Yeah,
here?
Did we have questions we wanted to? Because the mechanic again, Jedman. If you have a question you want to ask and he answers back, about the character, something you want to find out or feel about him.
Yeah, I don't know like how fruitful this will be as a question, but we'll do it anyway. I think the way that Jedman closes up that conversation is he like says that Tertius is going to leave, and he tells Bastion like, there's only so much we can do for him, and they like hatch a scheme together to like, send him off with a care package of sorts.
That's
like,
a cool idea.
So like, what does Bastion think that Tertius is going to need as he's like going?
Yeah, that's a neat question. What thing would Bastion put into that care package?
Let's arrange for him passage on a ship with a good crew, and make sure that the captain, not obviously, but gives him special favor to make sure that he moves up in the ranks.
Very kind, but it's too late. By the time you arrange for this, I have already left. I've left in the night with nary a sound as you're having your conversations already.
All right.
I think there's something sweet to that too. That you work this up, you think you've got something for Tertius, and then when you go to see him say goodbye, he's already gone.
And maybe you even like paid like dearly for it or something.
That's good. That's actually pretty cool. So yeah, we arranged it, but then it went to waste because he was already gone.
What if whatever it is that you prepared to send off that Edland actually thought that I stole as well on my way out?
That's a good idea. And only Jedman and I know about it. So we never share that with anybody. Okay.
So each of you can refill your pools, and if you have a condition, you can heal it. And so we have, I think we will go to, I want to see this Jedman coming up from downstairs. I want to see what you're wanting to do there, Jedman. So I'll let you frame out your scene. Who would you go and seek out, or what would you do the next morning?
Yeah, I think Jedman comes up after that hard night of like soul crushing memories, and comes up and he's just like, you know what, I need like like a solid meal. And he starts making like his favorite thing. He's making like this really, really great omelet. And he's so excited to eat it. And like, just as he's about to just as he puts it on a plate, like one of them comes in, and he like passes it off as like breakfast, and he starts again, and he makes a great omelet, and then like, another one comes in, and it takes like a really long time before he actually, sits down with his food.
Somebody gets seconds before. I think me and Eris both have seconds. We're very peckish after a long night of taking over the criminal underworld.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so thank you
so much, Edwin. This is really a great omelet.
So you two will come down to breakfast. Aris, I want to say that during the night while you were sleeping, you had that woman's voice, and you wake up having it's a dream, so you can hardly remember it, but you can remember her close and telling you, "It will be soon, Aris. Don't worry. It will be soon."
Yeah, and I've also picked up that little relic that Baston left for me. Keep it in my breast pocket.
Excellent. So the two of you come down to breakfast, and Jedmund cooking for you. Do we want to have a scene there? Do you want to tell him what's going on, or do you two have things to talk about?
I was going to, at some point soon, kind of resolve the previous conversation, now that I have slept on it.
Okay.
But I'd be fine having a scene here. Just when we have the chance, I will discuss that with him privately. Okay.
So you won't have it over the breakfast table?
Sure.
No.
With Jedmund? Oh, no.
No, I'm probably not going to bring it up with Jedmund around quite yet.
Okay.
I want to have it somewhere near that painting.
Excellent.
So if we're not having it, then I'll probably be, as we're finishing up our second omelet. So I'm going to go, Eris, I've thought about your offer. Let's discuss this. And I stand up, and I start. If he'll come with me, I'm going to bring us upstairs to where that painting is.
Yeah, I'll follow.
So and as we go up there, and I start opening that safe. And I'm kind of like, as I'm talking about this, I'm getting the painting out, bringing that. But it's kind of as I start cracking the safe. So I thought about your offer. It makes a lot of sense. You're the brother who's been here for so long. Who's if any of us has, you've been groomed for it, and you at least don't have the old man's goddamned voice like that robot does. So yeah, I mean the deal makes sense. You, hold down the family name here in, I keep forgetting what the town is called. Elysium. Yeah, you hold down the family name here in Elysium. I manage our affairs off-world, and, between the two of us, we've got, both the city and the Great Blue wrapped around our finger almost. But there's something that you should probably know before you take the family name, and I've got the painting out by now. You're not exactly the true-born heir of Scurlock. Annika Wyeth is your real mother, the woman in that painting right there. Something I thought you should know.
What? And I'm remembering back to the conversation in the study with the dead body and everything. And
why do you think that Lord Wyeth wanted that painting so bad?
Yeah, I'm remembering how Wyeth reacted, and like he almost told me. He everything but told me. What does it
Father
matter?
confessed it to me one time, and you should know that it was a special affair for him. That said, you're my brother. I trust you. But if you do anything to fuck me over, word will get out, and I will come back for the family name. Not because I want it, but because you fucked me over. And if you do fuck me over, I want to take it from you. Deal? And I'd extend my hand. Otherwise, I'll be completely out of your hair in the wild blue.
Deal. Like, I'm trying to keep my face grim to show no fear, but it bleeds through. I think he understands that I take that very seriously. My fire can only light so many pirates on fire before somebody shoots me. Like, it's
all right.
And I shake.
As long as we look out for each other's interests, you know, it'll be fine. We've been getting along so well, don't you think?
Imagine the wealth, Tertius. Pretty soon you're going to have 5 ships. You're not even going to go sailing anymore. You'll just sit in your little palace, woman after woman. It'll be great.
Yeah, that's what makes us different. I want to go sailing. You can sit in your palace.
That does make us very different.
And I think we get a camera zoom in on the hand shaking. As
shaking right over the painting.
yeah. We see her face appear as the hands.
Yeah. And there's still a little bit of blood in the fingernails on Aris's hand. Still hasn't quite cleaned up.
Nice. All right, Baston, you are coming down from whatever you were doing through the night.
Yeah, I would say I had arrived home. This is in the morning. That evening, I would have, because I was damaged and I recovered that in the refresh. I actually went through the lab and did some self repairs. And as I'm moving through the lab, the camera pans down to a steel gurney, and that female butt is no longer in the cabinet, but is now laying on this gurney. But it's like Bastion doesn't even notice, and leaves the lab and heads down the stairs towards, I guess, the kitchen.
Okay. And by the way, just to point out to you, since it was a refresh, you could have changed out your ability there because of your.
Oh, that's true, because I have one activated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I am going to. Oh man, I really like that politics on there, though. You know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to actually deactivate politics, which I think is probably going to bite me in the backside. But I am going to activate empathy, which will actually allow me to buy off key in the machine and take me in towards a less sociopathic role, but also put me more in jeopardy of the takeover by Lord Scurlock.
All right. And you head downstairs to the kitchen. I suppose you find Jedman finally getting to tuck into an omelet.
All right. When Bastion walks, strides into the room, his tattered remains of his House Scurlock tunic, scorched and scarred, but his metal plating is much more new looking. However, his purplish electroplasm in his head is now blue. And he walks into the room and says, "Good morning, Jesmond. How are you this fine whatever day?" I don't know what the calendar looks like in this one.
Tuesday.
At first, Jedman is just like eating his food and not even listening. And then like halfway through Bastion saying stuff, his eyes kind of rise from the table and he gives them like a crooked look and just like notices, differences in his speech and something's off, but he can't quite pin it yet.
As he's looking and is somewhat perplexed by Bastion's appearance and actions, Bastion actually walks over and rather clumsily sits on a large stool opposite the table, which is something Bastion doesn't usually do. Bastion would usually stand towering over everybody, but Bastion actually sits down and he, with a set of his fine articulating arms, picks up a silver utensil and it starts to kind of absent-mindedly doodle with it. And he looks to Jesmond and says, Jesmond, you have served this house for nigh on 40 years. What do you think our most major issues are with the people? What do you think we should do to increase the name and the prosperity of our house?
I think that as of late, the Scurlock house has retreated more and more from the public. You know, we have the impression of being, you know, isolated and cut off from people.
I know that we have very limited resources at the moment, but I have been working to mitigate and or alleviate some of our more outstanding debts. What say you to the family hosting some sort of masquerade ball or something in the near future, inviting all the to-do of town? Make a spectacle.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know, that would you know, show a new face to host Scurlock.
Perhaps we should make some inquiries to, you know, setting this in motion. This could put us on the right footing towards the future. What say you, my dear friend? And this is really so not Bastion. You know what I mean? It's like, you're like, what the hell's going on?
Who is this robot? Yeah, Bastion. Surprisingly, that's a very, I don't know, social idea coming from you.
Suddenly, the light in Bastion's dome and his eye socket just go out, and Bastion just sort of slumps forward onto the table.
Oh Lord.
Jedman like pokes him a little bit, like sees how sturdy he is.
Oh, he's very heavy. He's very heavy. But suddenly a red light glows and comes to swift to brightness. Bastion then like sits up and then says, "Good day," and walks out back up the stairs toward the lab.
Okay.
What do you do, Jedman? You follow him, or do you just go, "What a weirdo"?
I think what a weirdo. He goes back to eating his omelet and
good show. All right. You head back upstairs.
Okay.
We have we can kind of, you know, just gloss through some things we're wanting to do during the day.
Yep.
What would you like to do there? All right, Bastion.
Oh, well, Bastion will actually find himself sitting, you know, several hours later, he'll find himself sitting in the what's the room? The ballroom at the calliope or whatever, the harpsichord that he was playing in the first session. And he looks around at himself confused. He gets up and he goes to seek out his brother. But during the previous several hours, he had been somewhat possessed and something else was going on. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, what that could be is open to interpretation. I'm kind of setting the stage for some interesting things to happen without having any idea what that's going to be at this point.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. Tertius, what are you doing with your day?
I think that maybe I'm either probably spend a little bit of time starting to pack. I think I go and find Rodrigo and coordinate a few things with him, kind of fill him in on the long-term plan with seeding Cutter's organization with orphans friendly to our interest. I show him my map of the underground. I'm kind of setting Rodrigo up to really run the show for a while.
Okay.
I imagine that, you know, he'll be taking care of a lot of the dirty work while Tertius is focused on, you know, running the household and managing the name.
All right. And Arish, you've been given the opportunity here, your brothers agreed to help you and to support your claim. What are you doing today?
So I think I'm going to send a little urchin boy to go fetch a couple of orphans. One girl and 2 boys. And we'll say that there's immediate openings at the manor. And then I think I'll bump into Jedmund and suggest having a ball to announce the new Lord Scurlock and fill him in. So
you tell.
Yeah. Jedmund, I've got some great news. Are you ready? Are you sitting?
I can be.
Please have a seat. I've got 2 things. Would you like the great news or the good news first?
Oh, wow. This is starting off to be a good day. Let's start with the good.
I don't even know. The good is that you, my boy, are going to be able to retire soon. I have fetched some orphans. We've resolved quite a few of our debts through, well, we've resolved them. And I want you to train a couple of orphan boys to take over your position so that you can retire and do whatever it is you want.
Wow. That's fantastic. So you and Tertius have come to an agreement? Is that?
Oh, you've heard the rumblings already. Indeed. And that's the great news. I want to hold a ball or festival or whatever they call those damn things. I don't care. To announce to everyone that I will be the new Lord Scurlock.
Huh. Well, that is great news. Jedmund lies.
Thank you. Thank you. Although there's one matter, and I don't need it now, but the signet ring would be nice to have. Throw a little bit of weight around town. Get people excited about it.
Right. Yeah, maybe we can make a big ceremony of sorts at the ball. I think that would look good to the public. Be very symbolic.
Beautiful. Well, I guess we've got a busy week or 2 then. You train up the boys, and I set for one girl too. I'm sure we've had maids before. They could do things that they spot pieces of dirt in corners that unfortunately, Jedmund, you never saw. But anyway, and I'm off.
Just to kind of frame this, we know, Jedmund, you're aware that if Tertius and Aris have come to this agreement, that's 2 that have decided. They would still need a 3rd. You've sort of given tacit agreement here. You've at least implied that you're supporting his claim and are going to give him the lordship in the ring. But on a technical level, it still would require at least one of you and Bastion to make it official.
Yeah, I think Jedmund, he would definitely not have said anything in that moment. But I think maybe if Bastion, maybe he'll hang around and wait to gauge Bastion's reaction and see if he has an ally or.
Okay. Well, then why don't we have a moment where you 2 talk when you tell him this?
Yeah. So Jedmund finds Bastion in the workshop, I would imagine.
Can you hear me? Oh, there.
Yeah.
Actually, you find Bastion in the family plot, standing over Lord Edmund's grave, looking perplexed. He says,
Something wrong
gentlemen,
there, lad. You look
I don't know.
troubled.
I've been having recent glitches with my location protocols. Very strange. What can I do for you, my friend?
I was just wondering if you'd heard the news or the agreement that that the others have come to.
What agreement is that?
Well, Tertius has waived his claim to the manor and to the lordship.
Has he chosen to support me in my claim?
Afraid not. Eris is to be the new lord.
Eris. Eris is to be Lord Scurlock. I don't know how I can compute this this fact. Eris has always demonstrated an interest only in that which is mystic and magical. I cannot see him dealing with the lords and ladies and settling legal disputes and dealing with taxes and doing paperwork. This is unexpected indeed. Perhaps I should have a discussion with my brother and myself to see exactly what he has in his mind. But I would hope that you, Jesmond, would consider myself to be the more logical choice to lead this house. We will not go through such a what do they call that when there's a succession issue in the future with me on the chair of power, because I will not die.
Oh. That's what we need. Eternal robot overlords.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on some levels. You know, Eris,
you do realize
he's a good lad, but he lacks
I think we both realize that sometimes I can come off callous, but my interest has always been in the betterment of this house. If Eris can prove to me that he is truly the deserving lord and will rule in a way which benefits his house and increases our family's fortunes and stability in the future, as well as that of the realm, then I could give him my support. However, I still think the lure of power is the only thing that is truly of concern to him. We shall see.
Mm-hmm. I see.
And again, Bastion is acting much more human-like and less, less like purely logical and somewhat maniacal. He's acting kind of nice.
And what was your response, Sir Jedman? You were saying something?
Yeah. I was just gonna add just that there's parts of Eris that remind me so much of his father. And to be quite honest with you, Bastion, it scares me.
I think that my brother needs to be protected from himself sometimes. I think it is my duty to protect this family with all of my abilities.
It's just so unconventional. It
could be challenged. It could be challenged in court, but I am taking steps to ensure that such an endeavor or such a challenge can be overcome. We shall see.
Fascinating.
All right, I guess we'll close scene on that. We've had several scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody feel like they've turned some keys? Jedman, feel like you've turned any keys in these scenes?
Yeah, I think I probably got both. Oh, I forgot I have a new one. I guess I didn't turn the third one. But servitude, the whole breakfast thing was me angling for that. And then the new path,
Yep.
backing Bastion and
hoping that'll save the family. All right. Bastion, feel like you turned anything?
The key of that's not me. There's me. The key of the Dark Legacy. This is the first time that I feel that I've not turned that because I'm kind of going. While I'm pursuing power, I'm not really pursuing the darker side of that at the moment. Key of the Machine. I'm going to buy that off because I think I've effectively demonstrated empathy. And that gives me 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, which levels me, and then I'm going to immediately buy that politics back as a permanent thing with my empathy still, keyed up with my thing. So that's pulled off, and then for anyway, I'll get back to that in a minute. And then the Key of Duty, I think I'm indicating a desire to protect the family and not to allow harm to come to them. Would you agree, or was there's no bodily harm was threatened, but
Yeah, we'll see how that develops up once the family itself is opposing you. But I think right now your intentions are still pretty clear.
Yeah. So it's good enough for a point, right? So
yeah, I think so. All right, Tertius, think you turned any keys?
Oh yeah, Key of the Outcast, definitely. I reverted back to defensive and suspicious, and I'll throw Eris a point for that as well. I didn't realize it right away, but I bought off Key of the Dark Legacy because I just claimed my birthright.
Yes, you did.
So that one's bought off now, and I level up, and I would have to. I got to poke around for new keys because I bought off Vice last time. I think I'm going to take Key of the Pirate by default just because I'm going back that direction.
Okay.
I don't know what other one I'm going to take.
Okay. And Jedmund or Bastion, do you feel like that Key of Empathy? Do you think that Jedmund might have been helping you with that?
Absolutely. I just didn't want to interrupt. I was going to say that when I got a chance to speak. Yeah, he definitely. Okay. I actually forgot about that last turn. I should have given out a few too. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, and I'm unlocking presence as well. That's the other thing I'm taking on the level up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And as for, since I bought off that key, if you don't mind, I'm going to take the key that I wrote, the Key of the Demagogue. You gain power through popularity, arousing emotions and passions and prejudices in common folk. Hit this key when you take action to increase your popularity with the common folk, or when you leverage that popularity for political gain.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Cool.
I mean, I think it's pretty balanced. Yeah. So.
And Aris.
Definitely Dark Legacy, and I'll give Tertius one for that. If Tertius can get another one, he helped me buy off the Key of the Deal. I was trying to swindle him into a deal, and I think he turned that right around. And so since I gave it to him, buy that off.
Okay. And so that will give one to you as well, Tertius. Excellent. And so buying it off gave you 2.
Yeah, and so that'll put me up the next level, and I guess I'll take Rituals under Adept.
Nice. Cool. Okay. Sounds like our next step is going to be probably Bastion going to Aris.
I think that
or
sounds
do we
like
think,
good.
Tertius, do you have something, because you haven't done anything here lately, do you have something you'd like to do?
I don't have anything in mind right now. I'm more interested in seeing what happens after Bastion and Eris.
Okay. All right then. Let's have that scene.
Yeah, and I would also like to request a scene before we hit the climax of speaking to Tertius about Cudger. So because I don't know that Eris is involved with Cudger. Right. Okay. All right. So Eris, where would I find you?
You'd probably have to come to my room. I'm spending a lot of time there. Either that or flirting with the servant girl, whichever you prefer, actually.
How about both? You're in your room,
Well,
flirting with the servant girl.
so the only reason that wouldn't work is because what I'm doing in my room is I'm practicing rituals, and I'm not interested in her being in on that.
That makes sense. Okay. Let's do your room. I think that makes more sense for my purposes anyway. All right, so I will stride up to his door and extend my arm and da-doom, da-doom, da-doom.
You hear this knock on the door?
Yeah, I do, and I'll ignore it the first time, and then if he knocks again, I'll say, "What is it? What?"
Brother, I wish to speak to you about matters. I have heard that you have declared yourself the new Lord Scurlock. I think we should discuss this.
It'll all be taken care of at the ball. I'm a little busy. Do you mind?
I do have some materials I think you would possibly find useful in whatever it is you're doing in there.
Oh yeah, because he can see right through this door.
Yeah.
He sees the lines drawn. Okay, so I'll kind of crack the door open and slip into the hallway, close it real quick behind me. Yes, Baston, before you go, I know that you thought you would be the next Lord. I'm sorry that you found out that the world doesn't view your kind as human, and I'm grateful that you will be willing to back me. Anything else?
I'm not sure that I completely agree with you, at least at this point. Bastion will actually put his hand on your shoulder like a mechanical, almost so gentle. It's like, you and I have not always been close. However, I have been taking steps recently to remedy that situation. I am not unwilling to support you in your claim. However, I think we should discuss it and we should see if this is really the right destiny for you. And I will reach in and pull out another one of those trinkets and hand it to you.
I will very calmly take it and tuck it in. But again, showing that that's, it's like crack at this point for me. Like,
yeah, it's
he's feeding me crackers and I'm a parrot,
Exactly. I will then pull out the rest of them in my hand and say, a peace offering. No piecemeal, no, tit for tat. I'm giving these to you, brother.
Thank you. I will see that they go to good use. And
I am not asking anything of you at this moment. Personally, I expect you to follow that which is your inclination, that which I have seen time and time again. I wish to protect you, and I wish to see that you have the most fulfilling existence it is possible for your kind. I recognize that you have prejudices against me, but I also think you recognize my abilities in some areas. In the several days before the announcement, if you convince me that you are the legitimate heir, that you have the ability to govern this family and see it into a prosperous future, then I may support you. Otherwise, I will do everything in my power to see that while I defeat you in this matter, I will see that you're provided with every opportunity to pursue your interests exactly as you wish. And then I'll just turn around and walk away.
You can't pull.
As he's walking away, you hear a woman's voice in your ear, Aris. He will be dangerous to us. It would be better if he was just deactivated, wouldn't it?
It can be arranged. Swoop of the cloak back into the bedroom.
Excellent. Tertius, after seeing that scene, have you something you'd like to do?
Well, I want to grab a scene with Bastion soon, and it seemed like he had questions about Cudger. So I mean, maybe I'm heading into Eris's room to make some more plans and arrangements when I run into Bastion on the way out.
That's good. Kind of run into each other in the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's have that scene then. Tertius, frame scene as you come up to him.
Bastion, you've certainly been very busy lately. You've been, arranging to our father's affairs.
As have you, brother. I am working to alleviate as many of the debts and set up as much advantage for us in the days and months and years to come as I am capable. I am trying to secure the family name for the future. I know you disagree with this.
I don't disagree with trying to secure the family name, of course, but Eris and I have already reached an arrangement that will more than pay for our father's debts and provide us a steady income.
Are you sure, though, that this is the right course of action? Just because something will pay for the debts doesn't always make it the best course of action. What exactly steps have you taken? And I will inform you of the steps that I am taking, if you care to share.
Well, I already have a significant income. I've expanded my own little empire here in Illyrium, and I have very few doubts that we'll be able to significantly increase my income in a way that will help provide for the family, pay off our father's debts, and keep us in charge of this house.
And what is the source of this income, may I ask?
Business, Bastion.
Business? What kind of business? You've never shown an interest in business that I'm aware of. And Bastion should be really unnerving you right now with his almost kind acting.
Well, he is, but that's almost like a huge insult to me. Like, Bastion, I've been out there making money for the past 20 years at this point. I've got, a crew of pirates to my name.
Ah, your criminal enterprises. I see.
Bastion. All our father has done is lose money for the past 15 years. Anything that he's made, he's turned to dust.
I completely agree with you, brother, on that. I also very much feel that he wronged you, and I would like to also apologize to you. There's some things that in my haste when we were younger to assist you in your departure that he may have taken the wrong way and blamed you for.
That's all old business.
Well, let me share with you what I have endeavored to set into motion. I am trying to raise our family from a simple lordship to higher in the imperial echelon. I have been making political negotiations with several of the local aristocrats that can be dealt with, and I am working to replace others that wish to see us harm. I would like to see you not serve as a pirate, but rather fully sanctioned by the Imperial Navy. I would like to see you have the authority to go where you want, when you want, and not have to worry about corsairs on your backside.
I have the authority to go where I want, when I want. I don't worry about corsairs. I don't want to worship Bastion. Look, me and Eris have already struck a deal. I'm a man of my word, a scoundrel and a man of my word. And I don't feel like I can break that offer.
Let me ask you this. I will take no further steps to change your mind. I will ask you, however, to simply offer me one level of support so that I can attempt to prove myself further.
What level of support do you need?
It has come to my attention that Viceroy Skeen has some smuggling operations with Cudger. He is funneling things to the enemy of our nation. I do not wish to harm Cudger at this point, but I do wish to gather evidence on Viceroy Skeen to what it is he's doing, when the shipments are scheduled, when the shipments are received.
Best, and that will be simple enough to arrange. That said, you know, there are a few things I'd like you to take care with. For one, I'm glad you mentioned Cudger. He's working with us for the time being. I've got a plan in place. With about 5 years, maybe sooner, we'll be able to get rid of Cudger and have someone even more closely aligned with our interests in that position. I mostly trust Cudger as long as we have mutual interests, but I would rather have him taken care of eventually. For now, leave Cudger be. He's temporarily helping us for as long as we can help him.
Cudger is a thug, and his goblins are lowlifes. However, they can be useful. I will stand not in your way at this time.
All right. Simple enough. And then, you know, I'm sure that whatever comes to pass, you'll be able to look out for my interest as well. But I can certainly find your records on Viceroy Skeen. That's easy.
Okay.
All right. Do we feel like that scene?
Yeah.
Feels like a scene to me.
All right. Jedman, I would want to do something with you. What do you think you're going to be passing the afternoon doing? I also have something that I'll intersperse in here as we go. But what would you like to be doing?
I think that Jedmund, after his talk with Eris, feels very much like all of his worst fears are coming to pass. And I think that he's going to leave on head out into town on a frantic mission to try to destroy the key.
Whoa, the signet ring.
Going to he knows of a chemist in town, and he's going to go knock on his door, and he's also going to bring the crowns that were owed to him.
All right. You will head there. This ring weighing heavy in your pocket as you reach this this chemist. Jedman, very good to see you, sir. How can I help you?
Oh, it's good to see you. I've come here. I have 2 orders of business with you. I believe that there is some money owed to you.
Indeed, 6 crowns.
Yes. Here you go, and thank you for those medicines. They were a great help to Lord Scurlock in his final days.
I wish him all the best in his journey into the blue. He was a reliable customer for many years.
Good. The second order of business, I have an item that I need to destroy. I was wondering if you had any strong acids or something that could maybe
I do. Yes.
And Jedman would takes the key out from around his neck, and he holds it open in his hand.
So this signet ring with its embossed thing, as he looks at Jedman, the ring of the Scurlocks.
It's true. It's vitally important, and I can assure you that you will not be implicated in any fallout from this. Will be squarely on my shoulders.
Well, you must have a very good reason, Jedman, and you certainly were a faithful servant to Lord Scurlock. Come. He'll take you into the back, and he begins mixing powders and liquids to make something, this caustic liquid. And here, take it from you and drop it in. You see it bubbles for a moment, and kind of the exterior of it bubbles away, and underneath is a bright, shiny, bluish metal. Yes, star metal. He looks at you. Oh, Jedmon, there is nothing that can destroy the star metal.
It's as I feared. It was worth a shot, but
He takes some glass tong type things, pulls it out, dips it into another solution. He says, such things are mystical, powerful. It is said that star metal alone is able to injure the Leviathans or destroy a demon. Nothing can stop star metal.
I thank you. I thank you, Narcus, for your time. And Jedmon will take the key back, and he'll hang it over his neck again, and he'll head back to the manor.
All right.
Can I ask a question at this point? Does Bastion know about the key?
I don't think any of the rumors have come to you about the.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, if anything, you might somewhere in your head think, the signet ring, but you've heard everyone else has heard little tidbits about
But
it.
I have not.
Ghosts don't talk to Bastion.
Oh, I have an idea. Okay.
All right. And so as you return, I think it's time for us to take our first break, or take our break. It's been an hour and a half. Let's take about 5 minutes. We'll come back at 20 till. I'm going to think a little bit about how we're going to start moving in. Everybody starts figuring your vectors to hitting this final shot. And we'll meet back up at 20 till.
Perfect.
Do, do. Welcome back.
So do you have a green screen?
Yeah, I've set up a little green screen kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just kind of fun. I did this when I was in Tyler's Monster of the Week game. I had a little like wall of zombies behind me. It was kind of fun. So
Yeah, that would be good.
yeah, I just I can't get the lower third thing to work right for me in Google Hangouts. So I started using this OBS software, which lets you do compositing and all sorts of crazy things. And then I just couldn't resist, buying some green screen material.
Yeah, once you got the toy, the accessories.
Yeah, then you just got to start, getting all the crazy stuff.
It is so cool. And you were ahead of the curve, too, because now everyone's having trouble with lower thirds.
Oh, man, it's just that first game I played with you, it's just like it just kept disappearing. So it was like...
They're not working for anybody anymore, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, I think that Google is giving up on its Hangouts thing. But OBS works really well if you've got a Windows machine. You can layer a lower third. You can do chroma key, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of worried about what's going to happen to Hangouts.
Yeah, well, there's always other channels. Just Hangouts
Yeah.
is so nice because it seamlessly interfaces with everything. And
Skype's gotten better at least. That's like a good fallback for free software. Whenever I run games, I steal my work software, Zoom, which runs really well, but costs money, so it's not necessarily. I don't know if it'd be viable. I mean, I know Jason's kind of floated the idea of looking at something like that, because if we got 2 or 3 rooms of that for the Gauntlet, we would be pretty well set for the
that might be good. I like Roll20 kind of, and then at other times Roll20 sort of irritates me. So I've never quite.
Well, Roll20 used to integrate with Google Hangouts and have video chat and everything. Now it doesn't anymore, I don't think.
I think does it not still have the video? I know they were trying to create their own.
Maybe they did
off the code, but last time I played, honestly, it had voice, but I don't think it had video.
Yeah, I haven't used it since I learned about Google Hangouts from the Gauntlet community. So
I like the Hangouts.
I like the Hangouts too.
All right. I think what we're going to. I'd like to stick a moment with Jedman, honestly. In that as you're leaving that apothecary, that chemist, you're heading back, I'm guessing, to the manor, and a carriage comes by, and it stops, and you see Magistrate Holpine lean out. Jedman!
Oh, Holpine, good to see you.
Very good to see you. I was actually heading to the manor, but since I've encountered you, then I could save myself the trip. I have some paperwork for Baston, if you wouldn't mind delivering it for me.
Oh, sure. I'd be happy to.
Excellent.
Can I ask what it's about? Not to pry, but
some legal matters he asked me to look into, that sort of thing. He takes such an interest in the family. I've got to tell you, in all honesty, it's almost like the old lord is back when you talk with him. Have you noticed that?
Glad you said that. I thought I was losing my mind. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's truly remarkable. And I will say that I had encountered Baston before, and I had always thought him to be, well, very machine-like. But these last few conversations I've had with him have been remarkably, well, like Edmund. What is it? Edmund. Yeah, that's it. So remarkably like Edmund. He takes after him so. I don't know. It's truly a remarkable thing, and I I would have never thought myself one who would look at an automaton almost as a person. But close your eyes and he would almost fool you.
It's quite true.
You should try it. Just close your eyes one time. You will.
Right.
You may see that it's like he's right there with you all over again.
Huh. Fascinating.
And he hands you these papers. Thank you so much, Jedmond. Toodles. And he'll hop back into his carriage and ride off. Do you open up the envelope and look at the papers?
Yeah, I think Jedmond definitely looks through the papers.
You'll see that it's paperwork being set up to recognize Baston as legal citizen, as an heir to Lord Scurlock. And there's also, as you're looking through it, some papers with some options. Like there's one that discusses naming Tertius as an outlaw to the state. Of course.
Sorry, a what?
An outlaw to the state.
Okay.
And another, which talks about nefarious magics being used by Aris. Certain things that would eliminate them from being able to be recognized as an heir to Scurlock, for certain.
Right.
They're open-ended, but and along with that is also discussion. He has paperwork in there that would be, talking about how if there is no resolution between the family, that it would be sent to his court, and some precedents he has for unusual lords being declared. There was, in fact, Lord Turpin, who named his goat as an heir. They were lucky that it had lots of kids. But you see this packet as you, I guess, read through it and put it back.
Yeah. And Jedmond continues on to the manor, mulling through all these possibilities.
All right. Unless we have sound out for things we'd like done in the next few days heading towards this ball.
I'd like to talk to Jedlin at some point, but he's just had a couple scenes, so I can wait a minute.
I think yeah.
Aris?
Yeah, I think
I was going to say that Jedmond's the hot topic because I wanted a very short scene with him too.
Well, there was a while there Jedmond didn't have many, so I think it's good for him to get.
I agree.
I think I would like to get Bastion down into the cellar again at some point.
I have an idea for that. So why don't you do the scene with the other two first, and then we can do a scene you and I together.
Does that sound good?
At the
or does that hit your timeline, Jedmond?
Perfect.
All right then. Why not then, Aris? Would you care to? Do you want to frame scene, or do you want to have Jedmond frame scene?
Yeah, it'll be really brief. So I took one of the boys down to the docks, and we picked up our first payment. Just a couple of bills, not too much, but significant. Training him and acquainting him with the business, and then we'll come up as Jedmond walks in. Jedmond, it seems like I'm doing all the training for you. Retirement hasn't started already, you know.
It's probably best if I won't be here, so a new leaf for the manor, perhaps.
Exactly. How's the party planning going? By the way, here's some funds that have come in. Maybe we'll help with the ball.
Certainly. Things are coming along well. It'll be quite the event.
Cool. And then would I need to roll, or would I be able to observe with arcane sight that he's been tampering with the ring? Is there...
Let's
or
make
is
a
that
roll.
even observable?
Yeah, it is possible, yes, because of, it's actually been it had silver that had covered it. That's been burnt, has been melted away. And so it's just that star metal. So yeah, it's mystical enough that you could perhaps see it. So why don't we build up a pool for that? I could say, Jedmund, that if you... I just don't know if this is one where it's one he's rolling against you. This is an observational one. So I think this will just be a straight roll.
Okay, so I've got Sorcerer, Arcane, Awareness, Arcane Sight. Willpower, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives me 6.
All righty.
And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Holy cow. Then yes, you sense something underneath his shirt, this magical glow, and as you sense it in the back of your head, you hear that female voice almost hiss, "Star metal."
Do you have the ring with you by chance? I just wanted to look at it. I'm getting very excited.
Me precious.
Perhaps I'll do that. I'm just quite busy right now, Aris. Maybe we can do this later.
Sure. Get the streamers, the balloon. Sorry. Have a good one. I'll be around for lunch later.
Sounds great.
All right. And Tertius, I believe you were wanting to catch Chetman's attention around here as well.
Oh, he's a busy man.
He is.
Yeah, I think that I'll sit down with him privately at some point, and bring up this whole I suppose I should bring up this matter of succession that's been troubling us so deeply. You may have heard from Eris that we've come to an agreement that I think will be for the best of the whole family. Bastion still hasn't given up his claim. I don't know what his plan is, but what do you think, Jedmund? Who do you think should be the heir to the Scurlock name?
Well, I'm quite to be quite honest with you, I'm surprised that you gave up your claim so easily. I always kind of saw a glimmer in you, thinking that you would make a great lord. But
well, between the two of us, I agree. But I don't see what the point is in me sticking around here. I mean, this old house. When I found out about those killings downstairs, he's completely underwater financially. I'll help bail you guys out of it, that's for sure. But I don't feel the need to take up that legacy. Besides, I'd rather be free out there in the blue.
Sure, that's fair. Can't hold that against you. But Bastion, yeah, had you asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said you were, smoking too much. I forget what it's called.
Lotus.
Black Lotus, yeah. But I don't know. These past few days, he seems like a whole new man.
Seems like a old Edlin to me.
True.
Look, Bastion, back when I knew him, was his own robot, and he's still He's losing that. Haven't you seen that since Edlin died? He sounds more and more like him every day. He's starting to think like him. I don't know what else he's taken on, but I think that soon enough, I mean, you know, the old man wouldn't have wanted to just die off. I think the old man planned for this to happen. And I mean, you know how me and Evelyn got along. I would hate to see him come back in a goddamned everlasting automaton form ruling over this house forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
See, that's the thing with Eris. I don't think I would ever have to kill Eris, but I could kill Eris or have him killed. There are other ways that I have of getting Eris out of that position. I can't do that if Edlin's ghost is enshrined in an automaton. I've got leverage on Eris. I mean, he knows about his mother now. I've told him that. He knows I could use that against him, and he knows that I've got other power outside of that. Me and Eris get along. I mean, don't get the wrong impression. Me and him are brothers. We're great friends now. We've made all that up. But if anything were to come to it, and, you know, I would want your input now and then, there are ways of dealing with Eris. We don't have that with Bastion. At least not as easily. Nothing I can do as readily.
I mean, maybe Eris today. But, you know, Eris a few years, a couple months down the line, I don't know if we would be dealing with the same person or the same skill set. Or
no, what do you mean? I don't think that you'd ever get into anything that I couldn't take care of.
There are dark things. There are dark powers in your family.
And you think that Bastion's not going to get at those same dark powers? I mean, he's got the old man's soul in him, I think. The actual soul.
Yeah, but he lacks something.
If he lacks something, he's got all the time in the world to get it. He's an everlasting machine. I think what Edlin did with him is already astounding. I don't think it's over. Whatever he lacks, I'm not sure that he can't get it somehow.
I'm not sure, Tertius.
I'll let you think about it, but Eris and I have come to an arrangement that'll be very helpful for the family. I've seen him take on more responsibilities and show more cunning than I ever expected out of him. You know how hard it would be, or how, it wasn't easy for me to renounce the name and say that I'll extend that to him, but someone's got to do this, and personally, I think I'll be happier elsewhere, and I wouldn't sleep as easily if I knew that old Edlin was still down here running the house. I'll take the devil I don't know over the one that
I do. All right. Jedman, anything to say at the end of that, or is that a scene?
No, I think Jedman's just deep in thought at the end of that.
Okay. But you continue to be a popular guy. I think Bastion wants to have a scene with you as well.
I would like to see how Eris' scene plays out first. Or did they already do that?
They already did theirs.
I did that. All right. So, great. Yeah. Well, you will find Bastion is actually down at the door. He's standing there when you walk up.
The door in the
cellar, the Skatara door.
Okay.
and you walk up to him, and he's his dome plasm is a bright red. His eye is there's like a luminous glow coming out of a central eye, scanning the door, and he turns to you and says, "Jedmund, your timing is impeccable as usual."
I did not. This is the last place I thought I would find you, but I guess quite convenient, actually. What are you doing?
You mentioned that this door is for storage, and I have a bunch of gear here. And there's a large metal gurney with a large sheet over it, standing right beside beside Bastion. You have the key on you, don't you? I do not need to keep it. I would like to borrow it for a moment.
Jedman thinks, and he pauses for a second, and kind of comes to like, fuck it, like, might as well find out, right? I think he's been curious about this for a while. He realized that the door didn't react to Bastion before, and anyway, he takes it off his neck, and he holds it out.
So, thank you, sir. You have always been a faithful servant to the family. And he takes the key and he looks at it briefly, and you see a light scan over it. And then Bastion reaches into his fuselage and pulls out a severed hand and places the ring on the finger and puts it up on the door.
Did you go and dig up Edlin's hand?
Well, technically Edlin did, but yeah. And this is Edlund right now in control.
That's what I was figuring. Jedmund, you see this as he begins moving this hand towards the slot. Anything you wish to do?
Yeah, no, yeah. No, Jedman definitely wanted to see Bastion try to turn the key. Seeing this severed arm has changed his demeanor.
You're gonna try and take it away from him?
I think I'm gonna try to take the hand from him.
All right, sounds like we have a dice roll on it.
It does sound like a little bit of a problem here. So let's set up, both of you set up your die pools, and then we'll have opportunity to do our bidding for adding. Everybody got nice full dice pools of their own. Jedmund, let's start with you, bringing yours down. I'm guessing you're going the steadfast route.
Yep. So steadfast.
I might argue that this is wise. That you could use that, because I'll say this is wise to do. And then, go ahead.
And then veteran.
Yep.
Pugilists.
I think you could do soldier in this as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing.
And actually, I had a buy off or one of those things stored up. So
okay.
maybe vigorous as well.
All right.
So I would unlock vigorous.
There you go. You've gotten a new streak of energy in you here with the adrenaline flowing. All right, takes you up to 8. And let's see, you bought the old timer, didn't you?
Yes, I do have old timer.
So keep that in mind, that once per refresh, so it's all fresh here. An opponent younger than you, which Bastion is, you will be able to re-roll all your odd die after you roll.
Man.
Bastion. We're setting up you now.
I wasn't counting on that re-rolling all the odd die thing. Okay, I have automation, clockwork body, powerful. I don't think I can go for maneuver or defend, but I can go for maneuver. Cannot do leap or grapple here. Impervious, I think, counts.
Yep, I think so too.
So I've got that's 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total.
That's what I see as well. All right. You can add in your personal pool. Are you wishing to add any in, Jedmund? And it's kind of a back and forth until you guys don't want to add any more in. So, Jedmund, are you adding in any from the 7, or do you want to hear if Bastion's adding in first?
Oh, it can go back and forth.
Yeah, it can keep till you run out.
Sure. Yeah, I'll see what Bastion's gonna do, but 8 sounds.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave mine at 7. I'm not gonna bid any in. I think that Edlund has control of my body, but not control of my soul. So I'm not gonna give him any dice. But I'm gonna let him use my body for this. I'm gonna just go with the 7.
Excellent.
So who rolls first?
We'll go ahead and let. Why don't we, since we get the re-roll, why don't we give Bastion first, and then we can have Jedmund roll, and then the potential re-roll.
Sounds fair to me.
Sounds good.
So, and as this is happening, and Bastion, or rather Edlund, notices Jedmund's sudden action, his head will swivel towards like, Jedmund, I am surprised at you. You have always served me loyally. Why would you interfere in this? As I, forcefully push the key forward, kind of shoving him out of the way. That's my maneuver, kind of.
Okay.
Rolling. And crappy. I've got a total of 3 successes.
See 3 as well. All right. I'm going to, go ahead and clear those.
Okay. Oh, I can't.
Oh, I think I'm getting them on here or there. Let me get them. Yeah. And oops.
Trying to help you here.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. There we go.
Well,
I don't think that yellow dice was yours.
1, 2, 3.
So we're dead heat at the moment.
Now re-roll all of your odds. And you can just highlight them. Just click on them and highlight them, and then re-roll select. Yes, sir.
What would happen if we tied? I might be okay with a tie.
If you tied, probably since you're the one active, you won't stop him. I would kind of go with defender here. You would hit him, but he would still get it in. So.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be a fail.
I'm gonna not let that happen. And there. Oh, jeez. There we go. Reroll selected. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's much, much, much better, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 7 to 3, that means you have a 4-point advantage, which is super. I would say that with that, you have managed to grab the arm and kind of move out of the way of his thrust at you. And I'm giving you the option, kind of like you have the initiative, you have the moment of yourself. What are you going to do? You got the opportunity to try and take off or hit him in the head with the arm if you wanted to. But I'm giving you that opportunity as an extra bit of action because you really did well on this.
Sure. So I'm gonna rip the hand out of his arms. And say like, what the hell are you doing? And digging up the dead?
Jedmund, I didn't mind one little bit. Why are you standing in my way? I am simply trying to fulfill my original intention. You have always been a faithful servant. Please place the hand in the door.
No.
You are refusing
I've done a lot for you, but
direct order from your lord?
you're not my lord anymore.
Of course I am. You know who I am. You have sensed it for much time now. I am simply trying to complete this mission so that I can depart and leave these matters as they will unfold of their own accord.
I'm going to hold y'all there as I cut to Aris. I'm guessing up in your room as you hear in your head, Aris, the old man, your father, he is acting. He wishes to take me away from you. He wishes to imprison me, Aris. You must save me, and you and I, we can do so much together. I don't want to be bound to that old, decrepit man anymore.
So I will, trying not to smudge any of the wax lines I've drawn on the ground, rush out of the room and hurry down the stairs towards the door. I'm shouting at the top of my lungs for the servants, and if Tertius is in the house, to come with me.
I was going to ask Tertius, do you hear this? Do you want to run down with it?
Yeah, I'll go down there with him. I think I've been kind of packing up some of, not my things, but old Edlin's things. But I'll stop my business and run after him.
So as we get downstairs, I guess some time has passed, so I guess we should. One thing I'll say as we're going down the stairs is, I'll say, Tertius, I know you suspect, as I have, that the old man is possessing his body. I think I have a way to cast him out. We can exorcise him.
If there's any way you can get old Edlin back in his goddamn grave, I'm behind you on it.
I don't even want him there anymore.
Well, if it helps, we can shoot him off into space later.
Drop him into the soup.
Yeah.
And so as you two come running down, behind you are the two young servants you've gotten, for what help they may be. And they're rushing down as you come turning around the corner, and you can see down, all the way down where the door is. So there's a good, 80 feet
I think
away.
I also might have a few pirates with me. I mean, I unlocked the power, so I might as well use it. I probably was packing up with a few pirate friends, so I've got a small crew as well.
Right, they would carry your stuff for you, so you're helping you load.
Right.
All right, so you got a couple of pirates. Have you drawn weapons, Tertius?
I haven't drawn a weapon yet, but I could very quickly.
Gotcha. So as you two come down, you can see at the far end, you see Bastin, his head red. There's actually a glow to the door because the ring is so close on of Lord Scurlock. And you can see Jedman kind of standing off, has just said something. Looks like he said, no.
Yeah,
as he's holding a severed arm with a glowing ring on it.
They probably heard that last bit too. I mean, they got the message in the beginning, and they're arriving right there where I was like, or Edlin was like, place the hand on the door. Do as you're told.
All right, so we'll rush towards Bastin and secure him. There's only one way to get to purge him of the old man, and I will grab the hand and pull off the ring.
All right, so Jedman, could be a challenge there. Jedman?
Yeah, as he's rushing in, Jedman, do it quickly. Now is our only chance.
What you doing, Jedman? You see Tertius and Aris running towards you, and Aris is running towards you as he's got his, they've got some muscle with them, who are heading towards Bastin. Don't know how long they'll last against Bastin, but they're there.
Right. No, Jedman's gonna resist. He doesn't want to.
No.
He doesn't want to give up the hand. Well, He doesn't want the hand, but he wants the ring.
All right. Sounds like a bit of a struggle then. So Aris, we'll have you roll up a. I don't know where you would go with this one.
I don't know either. I don't think I'm going to be able to cobble together very much with this one.
I think you could go the noble route, and you could use athletics.
Yeah, I poured all my points into the other side. Oh, I didn't expect him to.
I mean, if you don't have very many dice, maybe it ends up just being a case where Jedman's able to hold on to
it off, right?
Well,
I mean, it would be a question of if you want to dump a bunch of your pool in there to try and be competitive on this, or if we want to say in the fiction he's backing away from you and Bastion.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna roll 2 dice. He's gonna roll a fistful more. Could we just assume that he's gonna win this, and then we'll
certainly, yeah.
Okay.
So Jedman has kept back from you.
Yeah, Jedman, don't you see the old man's trying to possess Bastion? We've got to stop this. We can't have him reigning for 1,000 years. You're going to let this happen?
No, Aris, you misunderstand. I see how wrong this is just as much as you. But what are you going to do with this key? Like,
I'm going to exorcise my father, who's dead.
I am not dead. I am standing right here. Aris, stand down. This is your father speaking.
As you say this, we're gonna go with the idea that there's probably 3 of the pirates and 2 of these servants who have come running, and they're going to attempt to grab you.
If he's going in with the father's voice and saying that he is Edmund, I'll attack him also. All
right. Okay, cool. Let's do the rush of them, and as you're pulling out and preparing, because you'll get a much cooler thing than they will. Yeah. So as they're running by, though, they knock over the gurney where it lands with a heavy kathunk, and out rolls the female form of the automaton there, laying kind of sprawled there suddenly for all of you to see as well.
I'm like, dear God, what now?
And, Aris, in your head, you see the prison he wants to put me in. Don't let him do it, Aris, don't. And so, Bastion, you've got these guys coming at you. I want you to build a pool to handle these people who've come up to try and grab you. We'll see if they actually can hang on to and immobilize Bastion for a moment.
Does Edmund have the possibility to activate the other android without Skatara being imprisoned?
Not without Satara.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. Right. Okay, so basically, Bastion's arms will extend and fold in as basically very heavyweight clubs, but then his light starts flickering, and it is his color shifting from blue to red, and he stutters, but he only manages to put together. I'm going to stick with the same, actually, instead of maneuver, I'm going to stick with maneuver. Actually, and I'm going to add in leap, and he's going to use his spring-loaded legs, and trying to avoid hitting Tertius, he's going to try to basically destroy the pirates that are with him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's coming in. He's got multiple arms coming out with grapplers and pointy bits and.
Excellent.
And by now I've got my sword out, and I'll be trying to disable Bastion. If I do manage to take him out, we'll talk about putting it back together later.
Right. So Bastion, go ahead, roll yours here real quick, and I want to see how you do against the mass.
Okay, so I think that gives me 8 this time.
I think so too.
which roll, submit. And 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
All right. You are you leap over the top of them and you club several of them, and they have moved to the side. They would be going off of a 1, so you beat them by 3. You've clubbed them around behind you, and you've kind of faced off with Tertius in front of you. The pirates are, trying to reform, look like they may try and rush you again. But Tertius, you now have him in front of you. Why don't you build up a pool, and I'm going to drop these real quick.
So is this a single roll? Is it opposed to his previous roll, or is it opposed to a new roll?
What, the one that is going with you?
Yeah, is my roll a single roll, or is it going to be an opposed roll?
Yours is going to be an opposed roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because I would have given you, had he not done particularly well, they would have been giving you extra die. They would have added in pool die to you.
Sure. Okay. So I've got Outcast, Survivor, 2 for Fighter. We have Blades. We've got Tough. I don't know if this counts as Underdog or not, because I've kind of got my guys backing me up.
I sort of think you still might get Underdog against this big metal guy.
I'll take it.
He's really terrifying. I mean, and you can't kill him.
I can kill him. I've got 7 dice. Then let's see. I will. Do I add that he adds, or can we keep adding to that, or how does that work?
We can go back and forth. Baston, this would be also when you would be but putting together your pool.
Okay, so this is a new pool.
A new pool coming off of different things.
So I'm gonna again, Bastion is actually resisting and trying to get control back. So I'm not going to give Edlund any of Bastion's pool, but Edlund still has complete control of the body. So it's going to be the same 7 or 8.
Okay.
Sorry,
8.
Yeah, and at this point, since his son is disobeying him and attacking, he's going to say, it was always a misunderstanding between you and I, Tertius. It is my desire to see you sit the throne.
All right, so I'll add 3 to that dice roll, and then any of the others want to lend a hand here?
Yeah, anybody want to? This is a perfect moment for you guys to add a die. Just say something you're doing to kind of help.
Yeah, I'll jet over a spurt of flame, try and knock one of his blades off as it's coming towards him.
Excellent. So that would remove 1 from your pool. You get another die. Tertius, Jedman, are you adding to either side? To be fair, are you adding to either side?
I think I'm not down with Edlin. So I would help Tertius in this.
All right. What are you doing to distract him? What are you doing to add? What's the flavor of your help?
Yeah, maybe Jedmund realizes after all this is happening that he's still holding this hand, and he kind of like throws it off, and then he sort of charges in towards the fray.
All right. So you're coming up and popping it with now you've still got the ring, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you're coming up behind and maybe whacking him with your cane. That's another die. Remove 1 from your pool. That's another one for you, Tertius.
I moved him over already.
Okay. And so why don't we have you roll, Tertius, and then we'll have the excitement of seeing how well Bastet does.
Okay, so I had 7, and I'll roll those, and then I'll roll the other one. So 7 is looking...
C3.
We'll select this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, I didn't see the others. Oh, okay.
I just re-rolled those a second ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, excellent. Okay.
Now cleared all those.
So 6. Baston.
6 successes.
Yep.
What exactly is Tertius doing? What's his attack?
Yeah. What's it look like, Tertius?
I'm kind of maneuvering in between those arms and trying to land. Well, if any of those are going to get too close, I'll chop it off with my cutlass. My blade's probably strong enough that I can take, a couple of them off. Probably not if they're all closing in on me at once. But beyond trying to get it, my real goal is to get in there and deal enough damage to the body of the machine to take it out of the fight.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to roll any dice. Bastion gets control, and basically you see the dome light go blue, the eye fades out, and when your sword blows hit, the body just falls apart.
Okay. So this magnificent blow comes in as Bastion collapses down. You've taken the body out. The head still looks firmly there, but you have really whacked this body apart.
I keep going a little bit. I'm taking some of the arms off even as it still kind of jitters and sort of dies down a bit. The whole Edlin voice thing really got me pretty angry.
Excellent. All right, Aris.
Taking out about 30 years of anger. Like when even as it's done, I've thrown the sword down and I'm kicking the thing still.
Excellent. Your pirates have come over and they're smacking on the body too with you. All right, Aris, you see Jedman has come up and aided in y'all's fight, and with your sight you can see the glow in his hand as he's holding on to that signet ring, and in your voice, "Now, Aris, free me, free me."
Jedmund, now or never, give me the ring.
We've discussed this, Aris. We'll do it. It'll be a nice ceremony.
I'm gonna kill him.
Oh Lord!
Oh,
Oh,
So the flavor of it is I'm gonna come in close and I'm gonna say, Jedmund, I've always loved you, and then just try and shoot a flame straight through his heart.
all right, Jedman. I'm guessing you're going to fight against that.
Yeah. Gentleman will probably do something against that.
All right, let's build up. We've already used your reroll, so this is a straight roll. Let's build up. I like the attacker getting the build up, so both of y'all go ahead and tell me what you're looking at.
So I'm at. Oh, sorry, I should be saying them out loud. I got Sorcerer, Arcane Adept, Attack, Create, Radiant Flame, Dark Void. We can add some of that flavor to the hallway becoming dark, kind of a sickening mist.
I think with this demon on your shoulder, Dark Void's not hard to touch into.
Yeah. The only one I would debate with you is rituals, because I've been spending all day if that gives me any power in the moment or not.
I don't know unless you feel like somewhere have you been doing rituals that would help you channel the demon?
I think what he was doing is he was practicing what would be required for the sacrifice ritual of the girl, and then also an exorcism. So I guess no.
Okay.
So that still gives me 7.
All right. And Jedman, how many do you have?
So I've got Steadfast, Wise, and Veteran. I'm not sure on Wise, but you would probably see this coming, and
I think I could go with that, yeah.
I got Soldier for 2, and Pugilist and Vigorous.
That sounds like it. Sounds like 7 for you as well.
Perfect. Well,
Now, anybody adding in?
I'll put 3 of my remaining 4 in.
All right. Jedmond, you adding any in?
Yeah, I'll put 4 in.
All right.
I guess I'll match him then.
Oh, all right. You adding another one, Jedmond, or are you out?
Yeah, I'll go all in.
All right.
Oh, he has a pool of 6? Dang it.
Okay. Let's start with you there, Aris. Let's see how you do. A lot of dice.
All right, we got 1, 2, not a good roll. 3, 4, 5. That's not as well as I expected, but
All right, Jedmond, your roll, sir.
All right. I'll do the 7 first.
All right.
1, 2,
There's
3,
4.
4. And then I'll just roll these right here.
Okay.
And roll those. 5, 6, 7, 8.
7, 8, isn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh,
so he got 3 on me.
yep. So that's going to be a great as as he comes close and he says this to you, this gout of flame comes towards your chest, but you're able to move to the side. How do you react? What do you say, Jedmond?
I think as Jedmond sees him coming, he just leaps at him and tackles him to the ground and is just like punching him, just like back in the old days, he's like in the heat of war and he's,
All right. So Jedmond, Aris, you will need to take a condition, injured, incapacitated, angry, shaken.
Let's take 2. Can I take dominated and injured? Because his
Yeah.
pride is taken down as much as his physical body.
All right. You take that. Tertius, even in your kind of rage, you see Jedmond beating the piss out of Aris.
Jedmond's a badass.
Yeah, I mean, I light a cigarette and watch. I've given up that Lotus, but I need something on hand. So at this point, I'm just like kind of watching and like nodding my head a little bit, trying to cool down a bit. I think I turned to one of my guys and I'm like, is it too late to put my money on the old man?
I sure as hell ain't betting against him. All right. I think we're kind of at our finale here. I mean, I think we probably should wrap up off of this. Baston, I'm going to say that as we're kind of, I think we'll just epilogue ourselves this story out. But if you want to have something, your head can. It's laying on the ground.
I would like to go last, please.
All right.
Do you think it make sense to have a quick discussion of like what the resolution is here? Because
Yes,
I think there's
absolutely.
still like stuff that's up in the air with this.
Sure.
I agree. So, do we want to, I always hate to have just a general melee of people talking. So why don't we kind of give an impression of what you're thinking of for a resolution so we can tie them together a little bit. And I'll come up from you, Aris, and we'll just go up the line. And then we can discuss out things as we go.
Okay. Kind of the way I'm thinking of it going, I think Tertius ends up becoming the Lord. I think I go off somewhere. They set me up comfortably, but I go off in shame and never really interact with them ever again. Those are the only things I have a semi-clear picture of.
All right. Michael, what are you thinking?
I think if Tertius were to do so, he would do so a little bit regretfully. It would be probably because of a breakdown in like getting, 3 people behind anybody else. Because I think my initial support would still be for Eris because we have a deal. But if that breaks down, I would probably reluctantly take on. At this point, it's funny because there was kind of that longing early on, but at this point, there's more of a reluctance to take it on.
Baston, what are your thoughts here on this kind of the political end of our story?
Well, I guess my question on that would be, would you try to revive Bastion?
Yeah,
Would somebody try to revive Bastion?
I think he'd get put back together.
And what steps would be taken to ensure that Lord Scurlock did not come back?
Well, we would jettison his body into space first of all. I think that as far as putting Bastion back together, like I would kind of proceed slowly with it. I don't think that Bastion would be back together for at least a little bit because we would be pretty careful with that business. As far as keeping Edlund away, aside from jettison the body to space, that's not really my specialty.
Okay, so if this is kind of the way it's going, is that Eris ends up kind of going into a self-imposed exile of shame or whatever, and Tertius becomes Lord, and you guys put Bastion back together, Bastion will realize all of these things that has happened, and basically becomes like an ambassador / diplomat for Tertius. He will use all of his diplomatic abilities to ensure that the deals that Bastion had made come to fruition, that we are able to supplant Ambassador or Viceroy Skeen with Holpline and set up a marriage between Tertius and his daughter. Negotiate that. It could be a loveless arranged thing, but it's a binding of the families.
So you would support him. You say
yes,
that,
yeah. Because I wouldn't exist without him putting me back together.
I think that there's some points of conflict there. I think there's elements of like while you're arranging that marriage that like you do a few things to set that up that I'm like, no, don't do this.
These things happen. Brother. You have accepted the lordship. This is your responsibility now.
Jedmund, what in this political sort of situation we're seeing here first, what are your opinions? What would you kind of like to see? Because then I'm going to go back and kind of ask what we see for the demon. What would we like to talk about that? But this is our political one first. What you think, Joe?
Okay. Yeah, I think as this whole talk is going on, and it settles on Tertius, I think Jedmund is very pleased with that outcome. He probably says something like, it's your guys' decision to make, but he's definitely like,
you're pleased with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's now answer what we kind of foresee for Satara. Mm-hmm. Do we want to have it where she's still lurking presence? Are we going to try and Aris, what do you foresee for Satara? What would you like to see that resolution be?
I think that I'm probably the only one who knows how to free her and set her go. So I think one interesting outcome could be, if that's how I get my comfortable living, is if I cut the deal, I'll set her free so she doesn't haunt the family anymore. If you'll set me up and never bother me again.
What you think on that, Michael?
That makes enough sense to me, yeah.
How about you, Baston?
I would, once I'm reassembled, I would let Aris know that, from my memories of, our father, she is all that remains of your mother. So tread carefully.
So now I've got to dispatch my old mother.
I mean, dispatch. I mean, you've got her.
You need to bind her.
Oh, she's bound already to the Lord.
Bound. I would be releasing her back into the waters.
Yeah.
what are these oceans that you constantly speak of? I have never heard of such a term.
Jedmund,
Encyclopedia. Okay.
Jedmund, what are your thoughts on the demon resolution?
Yeah, I think after all this talk goes down, he passes the key off to Tertius. And yeah, he's happy with this outcome. But he maybe leaves. He doesn't want to think about it anymore. He he's there for part of the conversation, and then he passes off the key and says it's in your hands.
Gotcha.
You'll do what's right, I hope.
Okay then. Well then, let's do an epilogue out for each character. A nice, good little scene, just a short set of what we see going of last sight of that character. I'm going to say though, go ahead and do a quick narration of if the decision is for Aris to open the door, or Tertius actually to open the door, and Aris to release the ritual. As the door is opened and in your head you're hearing her. She's yes, Aris, this will be wonderful. And the door opens, and inside it's just this vault carved with all of these arcane symbols. And standing in the middle of it, glowing, all of you see this beautiful woman, her white hair, and it sort of blows in a breeze that's not really there. She's got this Daphnis blue robe on. It's blowing in this breeze. And you can see the spirits of Annika Wyeth kind of standing behind her. And you could see the faint bits of Edlin's ghost as well there behind her. And as you begin this ritual to release her, and she's helping you, and you feel this power going through, you can see Edlin's back in the back. No, you fool! You're releasing the power that's made us great. No! And you could see Annika Wyeth, that she's constantly teary-eyed, and as she's looking at you, and as you finish the ritual, and Zatara says, "Free. I'm free." She looks back over at Edlund and goes, "You are coming with me, old man." And reaches and grabs him, and you can hear the sound of waves and this deep gurgling as he screams, "No!" And they fade away. And the beautiful Annika Wyeth looks at you and says, "Thank you, my child. Last, I'm free." And she sort of ascends and is gone. And let us do an epilogue. We'll start with you, Aris. What's the last we see?
So you see some paperwork exchanging hands between he and Tertius. You see him avoid eye contact with Jedmund, and he leaves with the servant girl. On his way out, Bastion is there, and I guess would Bastion be reassembled? Yeah, we'll say he's reassembled by the time I'm finally kicked out.
Or at least its head's on a cart being taken around.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that. So he's slightly aware of what's going on, but I'll just kind of touch the cold steel and say something to the effect of, I misjudged you. And then the last thing you see is just him shamefully walking out of the manor with his servant girl.
Nice. Tertius, what's our last scene?
So I think that, even though I reluctantly take on some aspects of it, I think that I am a fairly successful at, rebuilding a lot of the family's legacy in different areas. And I still even find time to enjoy myself now and then. I think the last scene is that I'm having a completely out of control, like orgiastic party in the now empty room where we once housed the demon.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Basta, did you want to go last, did you say?
Yeah, I would like to go last.
All right. Jedman, what do we see to epilogue out a final scene of Jedman?
I think I think after Jedman like sees to the transition and like make sure that the house is in order, I think we see him like boarding a ship, you know, nothing tying him down anymore. He's finally like, you know, going off into space, walking with his cane on and, you know, smoking a pipe and looking very, very content with.
Do you want a pirate crew? Can be arranged.
I think that's a beautiful scene, heading off into a well-deserved retirement. And Baston, what's our final image?
The night of the masquerade ball, when Tertius is declared lord of the hereditary family of Scurlock, you see the camera pans out from the ball and people swirling in costume and having a great time, and it zooms in on the docks, and you see Cudger hobbling down off of the gangplank as a ship raises into the air. We zoom into the hold of the ship onto a metallic skull that suddenly gleams to life with a red glow. Hands pick the skull up, attach it to a body, and it looks up to the sky and says, "I will find you, my love." And then as the camera pans out, you see a row of these skulls suddenly light up with the red light, fade to black.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's lovely. All right. I thought that was a bunch of fun, and it sort of plays to in the history of Scurlock. Lord Scurlock is an immortal vampire in the Wild Blue yonder, so there is a little symmetry to him heading off as another head in John Harper's mythology.
I didn't know. I actually didn't know that. I didn't read too much up on it.
I'll have to read Brains of the Dark where Scurlock is an android. If people dig too deep into his legacy, they find underneath the skin is metal and blue blood.
Awesome. Guys, can we do a quick Roses and Thorns, and then we'll head out? Let's start with Thorns, because that way we'll have a good thing at the end. Rich Rogers has inspired me always to do Roses and Thorns when I have the bravery to do it, because it's always difficult. But I will say that it is so wide open. There were times I felt like I repeated myself or wasn't getting us to points very well. So a thorn for myself is maybe I had too much where we weren't pointed enough. I don't know if y'all felt that way, but I felt at times like I was casting about a bit. Other than that, I apologize for that third session being short and me being so flustered in it as well. I thought we had fun. It was gangbusters of excitement, but I apologize for being flustered in that one quite a bit, which I shouldn't have had to bring to the game, and that's a shame. I'm sorry about that. Spencer, thorns from you, things that you saw that could change or be different, or that you didn't like, or something along those lines.
So this is only I think you guys were the first that I started, but the second that I finished in the Gauntlet. And I mean, blew me out of the water. I'm trying to think hard about a thorn. The only thorn I had is that we didn't get that last hour on last session, but I also don't blame you at all. Like, it sounds like you went through hell all day getting the car and everything. So
it was a lot. All right. Michael, thorns, system, anything you saw?
I don't have any thorns or regrets, honestly. I mean, there was you know, no, nothing really comes up. I think that, you know, if anything, there's nothing that sticks out. I mean, there's that. I think the Key of Vice was interesting for me. I felt like I would have had trouble, like, honestly buying that off. So I kind of just got rid of it when I got tired of it. But I mean, the system enables you to do that. So it's not really a serious thorn, but I thought that, you know, you ran it great. You know, the other hour, I'm not worried about. We had a great session anyway. And I think it was helpful to have some time to set this last session anyway. So I think everything worked out really well.
Robert, any thorns, system, anything that you saw that you thought could improve?
Really nothing major. I mean, the only thing I could say is that this campaign really lends itself to slow burn. I mean, I could have come up with a lot of plots and ideas that could have played out over a much greater period of time. So trying to squeeze it all into 4 sessions, you know, I had to truncate a lot of my ideas. And also, I mean, my decision in this last episode to switch things up, buy off that Key of the Machine and play Bastion a little different, both made it interesting and also way more challenging than I expected, because you know, I had to completely rethink how I was doing things, and that was my own fault. So I don't know. I think it worked out well, but I mean, yeah, were my druthers, I would have loved to have done this in 8 sessions.
I could see that. It is the one of these Wild Blues that he talks about being campaignish.
Yeah.
I part of me thinks that I don't want it to go so long that it seems like you're just repeating and not getting anything done. But it is one you can kind of wallow around in. Of course, that makes it a little replayability to it, because there's definitely different paths that could have gone in this one. Kyle, thorns, anything you didn't like or could have changed or would have liked improved?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a thorn or a rose. But the timing of the sessions, I'm not sure how I like the 2-week gap. I don't know if I like it or not. You know, it gave me lots of time to think about what was coming, but then also kind of like fell out of it a little bit. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
not really any. But.
Yeah, and that's a nature of my schedule. I have another game I run every other Wednesday.
Gotcha.
So that's in the nature of my scheduling. I have thought in the past that it can be disruptive, but again, it's sort of what I'm stuck with. But yeah, I recognize what it is.
And part of it I did like, because it you know, it sat in the back of my mind for those weeks, and you know, that was fun too. So anyway.
Cool. Well, then let's do roses. I'm going to save my roses to the last, and we'll start with you. Spencer, what'd you think? What roses do you have? Things that you liked, things that you saw in other players, or if anything I did right, or whatever. System.
Sure. Well, so I liked how much fiction Bastion just kept on bringing. Like, there was always, almost every scene, there was another thing that he had just kind of created and put in. So I liked that.
Thank you.
Gave us all a lot to work with. Shoot, I liked. I mean it. Like, I'm a fanboy now. I like the whole thing. I like the back and forth arguments with Tertius. I like the always trying to convince Jedman to be on my side, but never getting him. I guess what I'm saying is I'm applauding all the decisions that the players made on behalf of the characters, because it would have been so easy to just have one of us kind of dominate, and I think there was so much give and take.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as you were, Tyler, as the GM, it was awesome how much you let us frame things. I felt like that was really freeing, but you always right on it. You know, I think there was one scene ever that you took 30 seconds and you're like, okay, I got to think about this. But you always had a voice. You always had a motive in the back of your mind to work from. So I loved it.
Cool. Michael, roses?
Yes, my favorite thing is definitely the characterization. Seeing the characters who, you know, it's you can pretty clearly point to sort of like the dramatic poles and kind of the conflicts driving these characters. Even if there was something that they desired, there was oftentimes something even personally like getting in the way of that, driving the characters into conflict with each other and with themselves. And kind of as part of that, there was actual like character kind of growth between the sessions. I mean, I think, you know, with, you know, Bastion, for instance, you mentioned kind of changing up in the last session and that threw you off. For me, that was like exciting because, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we don't really have as clear of a sense of where Bastion's going and what he's doing. It becomes a bit more of a mystery, which I find really exciting. I mean, we had kind of the same thing with, you know, Jedman kind of being torn back and forth over the legacy of the family and how he's going to position, you know, the other three players. And the same thing would go for Eris with, you know, on the one hand, you know, he really wants the family name and the respectability. On the other hand, he's obsessed with this demon. And I mean, you also see him flexing in interesting ways as well. I mean, being, you know, starting off very stuck up and then kind of getting more to Tertius level a bit, and kind of seeing the dynamics change between all the characters as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Bastion, Robert, what any roses?
Well, I'd like to give honorable mention to you guys, all of you. I've really enjoyed playing with you and everybody brought to the table. I hope to get to play with you all again in a more cooperative type of scenario, whereas I'm not the one like on the outside of everything. But that said, my favorite thing, the official rose I'm going to give out is for the system and the key system. I really enjoyed the way experience worked in the system, and the keys really helped me guide this character and play him as I felt it was meant to be because of the keys that I was given initially. Yeah, I really like that. There's many things I could sit and go on and on about this group and this game, but yeah, that's my if I can give one rose, that's the rose I'm giving.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I posted a quick note in the chat a minute ago because the keys really are one of the things that drive that character dynamics. Yeah. They give you the point for playing up your character trait, but also like the option to say, you know what, like, why don't we throw that out the window? My character's changing and then somebody different now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I felt myself stumbling onto a character change. Like when I came over and I slit the guy's throat, I was like, oh crap, I just gave up on the nobility thing. But it was great because it allowed me to take another thing and drive towards another key.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Kyle, roses, anything you'd like to speak out on that?
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to echo what other people said. But I really liked how everyone played their character. And it felt like they all had, you know, real motives, and, you know, I really liked the system in that I felt like it gave me a lot of support in like how to play, you know, things to hit. I really liked the keys and that experience. That was really good. And I kind of liked how we were all, you know, all of our goals were kind of counter to each other. You know, not completely, but there was that built-in confrontation, which was good. And yeah, I loved how you gave us space to like loosely, you know, explore lots of stuff, but like also, you know, had orchestrated it all to come to a conclusion and like have the story follow through.
All right, I'm going to finish out with roses. I will echo that. I think this system is super neat. I like how you build the pools. I like how it makes you think of what cool things I'm able to do and how that's going to look. I agree. Those keys. It's just a brilliant mechanic. I mean, it really is smart on so many levels because it keeps you in the mindset. And it gives you that freedom to get, you know, to change up. And there's so many things out there, nice, cool keys to pick up. I'm all about this system. I think it's just lovely. Each of you were phenomenal in these characters. Robert, your Bastion was so constant and said, just came up with so many interesting, wonderful things. It was always something new and big and wonderful with what you did.
Thank you.
Kyle, to watch you struggle and go through kind of the torment that Sophie's choice of, oh God, what's going? You know, who is going to be the one who doesn't destroy it all, and what am I going to do about it myself? And your way you dealt with your own guilt, that was beautiful. Tertius, I thought, Michael, you just nailed it. I mean, it was so cool going through the kind of rapscallion sort of coming in from the wilds, being all, you know, I'm the bad pirate, and then become much more of the conscience and the decent person of the group. You know, it's like, that guy's murdering people and he wants to sleep with a demon. I'm the good guy.
I indulge in normal crimes like piracy.
It was just brilliant. It was so neat. And Tertius seemed so real. I mean, it was such a real and fully actualized character. It was so nicely run. And Spencer, Eris, I loved him. I think that some of the things you did were the highlights of the game for me. There were just little phrases you would say in that voice, that were brilliant. And you could see the temptation getting over on him. And the sort of like that scene with Jedmund and, you know, trying to wheedle him better. And then when he does, and then with Tertius and the grabbing of the edge of the table, it's like, damn it, just let me have it. There were brilliant moments out of that character. It was so well done, Spencer. Thank you so much. I had a great time. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Very satisfying campaign with a really fun, satisfying conclusion.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, gentlemen, hopefully we will play again soon. I think, Michael, B, and you have something at least somewhere coming up in the future.
I think somewhere, yeah. I'm always keeping an eye on your games coming up.
Are you as Bluebeards with me?
No,
I think I signed up for Bluebeards. Is it next Tuesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm also in that.
Oh, excellent! So I got both of y'all just next Wednesday.
I don't have the guts for Bluebeard.
Oh, you're in Moonicorn, Space Worm and Moonicorn with me.
Yes. I'm really excited for that. That's a system I've wanted to play for a long time.
I can't wait for it too. I've run Bluebeard now, and it's deep and dark, but it's a lot of fun in its way. I guess fun is sort of the word. It's dark, but I look forward to playing with all of you again. Robert, you know I love playing with you. And gentlemen, thank you all for being here.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
See you guys around.
I'm gonna stop the broadcast.
Yep.